So, hello everyone. I want us to share another interesting talk here that I was thinking about, and I wanted us to see something that came up that was very interesting. So, I'll title this talk "What's with the Right." What's with the right? And we by understanding this talk, you'll understand the secret undercurrent of life. So, I'll give it as my experience because it was my experience one morning. So one morning I woke up with a phrase in my mind, and the phrase was, when you give, do not let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. So, of course, when you wake up with such a phrase, it intrigued me. So I had to look for that scripture, where it came from. Where does that phrase come from? So, going to that phrase, I realized it's in Matthew chapter 6, verse 3 and 4. So let's read. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. That was the reading. So, when you read a verse like that, many times what loads into your brain is the traditional ways you have been taught to think about what is being taught there. Yeah. So, we've heard those words so much, it sounded obvious until it is not. And that's the thing with scripture. You will listen to a scripture you had in Sunday school, in the church for so many years, until something shatters and takes you off to another direction that you had never seen. So we are seeing an instruction telling us about the left and right hands. Isn't it? That's a question. Ask yourself, what is the left hand? What is the right hand? Why must the right hand hide what is it doing from the left hand? Are they not on the same body? These are the questions that begin breaking down this verse, and you begin seeing things beyond what you are taught. So, if you look at the left hand, what came to me was the left hand is describing the left hemisphere of the brain, the seat of logic and reason, and the right hand is the right hemisphere of the brain, the seat of imagination, intuition, and creativity. Very interesting. Something that it just came to me as in, I was like, yeah, I've heard it was an echo from somewhere. Now, not letting the left hand know what the right hand is doing means that, number one, it is the imagination and creativity that is doing. It is the one that is creating the man's outer experience, not logic or reason. Number two, it means that what you imagine and create within is not subjected or should not be subjected to logic and reason. As your father being awareness, your awareness of being, rewards you or rewards what you imagine as true within as manifestation without. That defies logic, reason, effort, process, and conventional wisdom. So the secret place is within. Now, let's go back to that definition. The right hand doing. As I said earlier, this is talking of the right brain, but I don't want you to think of the side of the brain. I want you to think of function. So, if it is the right hand doing or the right brain, we are looking at the creator, the dreamer, the intuitive owner, the artist. This is the faculty that conceives of reality in its desired state. It doesn't argue with the how, it simply sees the finished picture. Now let's go to the left hand, which is what we termed knowing. This is the left brain. This is the logistics man. This is the skeptic, the accountant, the critic. It deals with existing data, processes, and the reasonable path from A to B based on past evidence. Yeah. Now, what are the implications of such a discovery? Imagine reading a verse about left and right hands, and then things like this start coming to you. What implication is that to the verse and to you as the person understanding it? It shows the primacy of creation, or the primacy of imagination, or the primacy of creativity over reason. We've identified that the doing is assigned to the creative faculty and not the logical one. This flips conventional wisdom on its head. We are taught to figure it out, left brain, and then act. This verse, though, through the lens we have looked at, says the primary action is imaginative creation, which is a function of the right brain, and logic is merely a tool for navigating the reality once it's created, but it's not the engine of creation itself. Now, what is another implication? The suspension of disbelief as a spiritual principle. Do not let the left hand know becomes a command to consciously suspend the inner critic. It is the instruction to enter a state of such massive, faithful imagination that the logical mind, with its doubts and its hows, its memories of past failures, is completely bypassed. It is told to stand down. It is not invited to the creative process. That's another implication. What's another implication? We understand now that the Father is awareness or consciousness. That the Father is not a distant external deity, but is the fundamental field of awareness itself, the conscious medium through which our thoughts and imaginings take shape and become reality. Now, this aligns perfectly with mystical interpretations across traditions and across the traditions and modern consciousness theory. The reward is the manifestation. The secret place is the inner world of your imagination, which is only visible to this field of pure awareness, which then reflects it outward. Another implication, it defies conventional wisdom. The reward that comes publicly without is by its nature illogical. It did not come through sheer effort or left brain activity or a conventional predictable process. It appeared as a sort of graceful synchronicity, a miracle. It is the material world conforming to a new internally held truth, making the journey from the invisible imagination to the visible manifestation, skipping the logical middleman. Yeah? Now, let us look at this truth from another perspective. Matthew chapter 6, verse 5 to 6. And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And when your Father who sees you in secret, will reward you. So, who is the hypocrite? The hypocrite is the left brain persona. This is the identity that is tethered entirely to the external logical world. It acts not from inner conviction, but from a calculated algorithm of social approval, predictable cause and effect, and the avoidance of risk. It appeases others because its entire sense of reality and self-worth is derived from its outer reflection. It is the ego performing for its audience. Yeah. Now, the room is your body. The closet, or from the Greek word tameion, a storage chamber or inner room, is not a metaphorical spiritual plane. It is the very vessel of your existence. It is the physical space you inhabit behind your eyes. The grounds This grounds the practice in tangible reality. You are the room. So when we are told to go to your room, you are not being told to go into a room. You're being told to go within. Yeah. The door is your physical senses. This is the master key. To shut the door is the conscious withdrawing of your attention from the external evidence of the senses. You close your eyes to the present, persistent reality. You stop listening to the world's testimony. You mute the sensory data that your left brain uses to build its logical case for limitation. You enter a sensory induced vacuum so that a new reality can be imagined. The prayer is the right brain imagination of the end. When with the door shut, you are free to pray. And this prayer is not a request. It is the act of constructing a new reality using only the faculties that can. Feeling, image, and sensation. These are the inner senses. You are not begging God, you are being God by asking a new world into existence from the void of your closed off senses. The end is the desired state, felt and experienced now. If you look at this now, prayer is a movement within, not words without. The left brain persona or the outer man likes a lot of words. But the one who actually creates, the inner man, makes movements of where he wants to go. Now, the Father is awareness. The Father is not a separate entity to be pleaded with. It is the fundamental field of conscious awareness in which all things exist. It is neutral, it is reflective, it follows its own law. It must by its nature objectify what is subjectively felt to be true within it. Your imaginal act, the prayer, is the seed planted in the soil of awareness. The reward is the inevitable harvest, the manifestation of that inner state as an outer experience. Now, let us look at faith. Can we see faith in a new light based on this understanding? Let us look at Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So, things hoped for. The thing hoped for is the desired end or what is imagined in the secret room within. The substance is from the Greek word hypostasis, which means actual reality, foundation, or confidence. The imaginal act on the right brain is not wishful thinking. It is the actual tangible creation of the reality in the only realm where creation first occurs, the invisible realm within. Things not seen. The external reality has not yet conformed, so there is no evidence that what you have accepted as true is out there. Evidence. Evidence. Now, evidence is from the Greek word elekos, which means proof or conviction, which we say is the vivid sensory-rich imagination of the end, which is the only proof you'll ever get before the manifestation. It is the conviction that it is done. Now, going through all that, let's redefine our understanding of faith from the right hand. Faith, then, is not the belief in spite of evidence. It is the act of generating the only evidence that matters, the internal evidence of a reality felt so truly that the external world has no choice but to mirror it. Now, faith is the discipline of accepting your inner imaginal act as the first substance or the only true reality and the only evidence you need. If you can feel it and believe it in your inner world, you have already created it. The external world will inevitably catch up. Now, can we look at the big scary verse of James 2:26? For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. We've had this verse. From the verse in James, what do we see? That faith, number one, is analogous to the body. Number two, that works are analogous to the spirit. This seems counterintuitive at first glance. Conventionally, we have taught that faith is the inner spiritual part and works are the outer physical actions. but we are inverting it to reveal a much deeper metaphysical truth. Faith is the body, the invisible form. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is, as Hebrew 11:1 states, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This makes faith the already completed internal reality. It is the invisible form of the desire. It is the blueprint, the spiritual prototype, the body of the wish waiting for animation. A body without a spirit is dead. A blueprint without a builder is just paper. A car without an engine is just sculpture. It has form but no life, no power, no motion. Works are the spirit, the animating life force. Works are not merely physical labor or effort. In the highest sense, the work is the imaginal act. It is the spirit, the breath of life that you blow into the invisible form that is faith. The work is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the sensory vividness you generate from the secret room of imagination. This is the animating life force. This is what takes the static dead form of a mere hope and gives it life, momentum, and compulsion to become visible. So, there is an astounding statement of faith here. The work is done by the Spirit, and the body is the mirror of the faith and the body is the mirror of the faith in the work within, without. So the body is a mirror of what you have done within. So what does the above statement mean? Let's go back to James 2:26. In essence, James 2:26 is not a scolding to do more stuff. It is a metaphysical law. For as the physical body without the animating breath of spirit is a corpse, so an internal reality or faith without the animating power of feeling it real works is a dead concept with no power to manifest. That's how James 2:26 is seen in a new light. So, faith is the city whose builder and maker is God, the form that awareness creates as the end it desires to experience. So Hebrews 11:10 re-emphasizes this point. Hebrews 11:10 says, "For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God." We identify this city as not a physical place in the afterlife. It is the internal spiritual form of the desired reality. It is the complete, finished, and perfect blueprint existing now in the dimension of imagination. So let's break down Hebrews 11:10. The city, this is faith. It is the substance, the body, the entire constructed reality in its ideal, finished state. It is the vision of life you desire in its totality, not a single wish, but the entire world, a city of interrelated circumstances, feelings, and experiences. The builder and maker. The builder and maker, this is God. God is awareness. Awareness is the sole fundamental substance. It is both the material from which all is made and the consciousness that does the making. It is the builder and the maker, the architect and the labor. Yeah? Is God. This is the critical point. The city is not built for God by a separate entity. Its builder and maker is God, and that God, we have said, is awareness. Therefore, the act of constructing this city in your imagination is the activity of God expressing itself through you. So what do we conclude about faith? This means that when you enter the secret room or shut the door of your senses and begin to feel the reality of your wish fulfilled, when you walk the streets of that imaginary city, smell its air, feel its sun, you are not merely visualizing. You are engaging in the highest form of divine communion. You are allowing awareness to build and make a new experience for itself through the unique lens of your consciousness. So, what are our conclusions about faith? You are the place where the formless or awareness takes form, which is faith and the city. You are the locus where the infinite potential is focused into a specific reality. The work, the imaginal act, is done by the spirit or awareness, and the body, the physical manifestation, is merely the mirror of that completed internal work. So, to have faith is to consciously inhabit the city that God or awareness is eternally building within you. It is to live from in the end not as hope but as a present tense reality, in the only place where the reality must first be constructed, the inner world. And this is the secret undercurrent of life. Thank you.